Hi everybody, and thanks for checking out another video here on G4G, Games for Gamers. Today we're going to take a look at a Facebook game called ChronoBlade. This game is currently in beta. I was given a beta invite for it. However, what was a little bit odd was the fact that I was given a code and I never had to do a code for it, so potentially it's in open beta at the moment? So, let's see. Oh, good. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go with best. Okay. So, this game, before I show you some footage on it, I'll give you a little bit of information about what the game is like. Do you remember Golden Axe? Do you remember Final Fight? Maybe a more recent game like Rusty Hearts? Well, that's what this game reminds me of. It's basically a side-scroller, and it's beat 'em up, and it really does remind me of the like the Final Fight game. Not too much Double Dragon, but more like Final Fight, and also a lot like Golden Axe. The style that seems to work for this game pretty well is to try to maneuver so all the enemies are in a line in one direction from you and start beating on them, which was of course the key to success for Final Fight if you happen to be old enough to remember that game. What you don't see here being recorded is the move list and the leaderboard, which is actually down below. Actually, well, yeah, here you go. This is what it'll look like. My main character is somewhat far, well, I wouldn't say somewhat. He's relatively far into the game. He's got quite a good amount of levels, so you can see a move list over here. And he is up to level 10. You also have an well, he's actually level 9. You also have an alternate character that you can get to. You unlock it while questing and doing a story, and that's Lofi. You fight a dark version of Lofi, and when you win that battle, you're able to unlock her, although her, except for the chest, kind of looks like a him. It's a little on the ambiguous side. But here's the main character, which is WOTLK. He's a barbarian type. And here he is with several pieces of armor. The inventory in this game is not shared, so that your WOTLK inventory is not going to be the same as your Lofi inventory. But here you can see some of the loadout parts. You have gloves, you have the chest, head, knuckles on him, which is the weapons. You have bracers. You have the boots and the pants. Now this belt is pretty much part of the pants over here, so it doesn't have a belt slot like World of Warcraft. When you have items in your inventory, you're automatically given a comparison tooltip. So here are some older weapons that I'm no longer using. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sell this one. When you click sell, you get a sell cursor, and then you click on things and they go away. These gray items there were trash. So an example of some different weapons over here. These will be a downgrade, but you can see how they change for him. So I'm going to go with my best weapons at the moment. Here's an example of a chest that is an upgrade. So we can double click on it and automatically equips it. And you can sell the old one. Here are some gloves that are a health upgrade but a loss in armor, so we'll keep them. This is direct upgrade. We'll use those. So this is what... I didn't mean to do that. This is what your inventory looks like. As you can see, it's relatively sizable. You can repair all your items or do it individually. Here is your quick slots for combat. We have the med pack, we have energy and health potions, which doesn't want to let me drag it. Maybe if I do that. Okay, there we go. And we have some bombs that I accidentally sold. If we go to characters and we select Lofi, and we see her inventory, you'll see that it is not shared, unlike, say, Marvel heroes. You have a skill tree similar to Diablo and, of course, the skill tree in early World of Warcraft. It's 2 per character. You have abilities and you have traits. Traits are the circles. They go here. And you can carry a limited number of traits and you can carry a limited number of abilities. So as you can see, it's somewhat robust. It's decent. And that's what Aurochs looks like. When you change your talents, make sure you actually save them. And over here for characters, we've got Lofi. And if we go to her skills, you'll see that she has some summoner ones and some shadow. And again, you've got abilities and you've got the circles for the traits. You can reset them for a somewhat sizable amount of gold. You are given a store in which you can buy items, and that's accessible over here. You have crystals and you have gold. Those are the currencies that you have. As you can see, the chests are typically booster related items. You can buy some equipment with crystals, which are also used for rezzing. It's kind of nice that they give you a preview. Surprised they don't have a weapon there. Your items, which... gonna get some health potions. And then you have some boosters which aren't available yet. Now, one of the items you have is the tournament, which typically sounds like a PvP thing, but it's not. However, you are trying to defeat waves of baddies in a global competition. Being level 9, my character is a little weak for it. He doesn't do too well. So now we'll jump into some of the actual gameplay. Your arrow keys move you, and it's going to be a little bit laggy here. A is block, S is a power strike, and D is a quick one. And then you chain combos together based off of those abilities. These walls for the tournament will hurt. See, the key to this particular game is to keep the combos going. The higher that combo meter gets, you'll actually hit plateaus where you start doing more damage. See, as you can see here, the tournament itself is kind of hard, and considering I'm doing the recording, not quite as in control of myself as I would like to be. However, don't take what you see here is any indication that the game is going to be laggy or not smooth. It's actually a very, very... Oh, I didn't want to try again. Let's see if I can quit. Probably can't, but I do want to lower the sound effects a little bit for the video. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and go back into the actual story mode of it, which is the meat of this game. You get there by going to map. And you can see your quests over here. You can repeat previous areas on different levels. You can do normal, hard, and heroic. And you have to beat it on the older level first. So you have to beat it on normal to get to hard. So I'm going to try the first level on heroic. And this is going to be new to me. I haven't tried any heroics yet. So we'll see how this works out. Might get my ass kicked, might actually do well. To be honest, I cannot praise this game enough. I think it's an incredibly fun game. And to think that it's a Facebook web game, I mean, this seems like it could be a Steam indie game. Now, one of the best ways to get combos going is to do D and then jump. Because when they're in the air, you start getting off a lot of quick combos, which drive the meter up pretty high. Whenever you see beacons similar to the one that I'm fighting, you gotta destroy them as quick as possible, because they will spawn in more enemies, and you have to make sure you get away from them when they're dead, because they blow up. See, one thing I think this game does lack that you would think a game like this should have is world drops of restorative items. And that's how you can tell you're at the end of a level, is when you see that little slow-mo. I think the game would do well to drop items in combat that could boost your health up a little bit, like a little quick piece of food. It's nice that they drop potions, but I'd like to see a little, health restore that isn't something you trigger. Kind of like the food in Gauntlet. Now, fortunately, not every single segment wall in this game is harmful like the ones on the Bifrost tournament. Now, it's going to take a little bit of going through these early levels before you actually start getting really good combos, just because you tend to kill the enemies so quickly. It's hard to get that meter going. And possibly because it's on heroic, the expire time on the combo chain definitely feels pretty quick. Good way to keep combos going is to dash after you've beaten on somebody. So now we're at our first boss. Or actually, I think this is the second boss. I'm stuck on a vase. That was interesting. And you also have abilities you can hit like that. If you see white or red glows, you definitely want to get out of the way or block it. which sometimes is not incredibly easy when you're in the middle of a combo. And what's kind of neat, when you kill a boss, you have the share option, which will appear shortly. There it is down in the lower right. And you want to make sure you get any loot before you go ahead and click continue. So that was my first heroic, which wasn't too bad. And I'll go ahead and show you guys the second character. So as we're loading and we're switching characters here, again, I find this game extremely fun. The game that I happened to like the most prior to this was probably the Marvel game. As you can see from my channel, I've done a few videos on it. This game could potentially be my biggest time waster now. It's fun. It allows you to kind of get some action in. I mean, the Marvel game is great. I'm relatively addicted to it, not quite as much as some friends, and I'm not really dumping a lot of real-life money into it. But this game satisfies a need for action and fun and to just beat the crap out of things. And so far, aside from the tournament, I haven't really come up with stuff yet that has caused me, grief. Everything's just been a matter of plowing through stuff, and as the levels have gotten a little bit higher, you have to get a little bit more tactical and try to get some blocks in, especially on the bosses. And for some reason, loading bar is not going too well over here. You can see this character's move list over here. Yeah, the load bar does seem to be a little bit messed up at the moment, so we're going to go ahead and pause and resume after I hopefully get this working. Alright, so we're back, and here is Luffy. She has a considerably different style. That's her strong attack, and her weak attack, and her block. I found for her, she is a little bit harder to keep a combo going, but I will say that she is pretty good at getting to other enemies quickly after comboing. She does seem to clear ground a little bit faster than the barbarian. And this is an example of one of her evil side spells. Standing in this would give me a buff to attack. My Q ability makes me grow bigger and do a little bit more damage. A good opener for her is actually S. She kind of gets that E-Honda headbutt going. And it does help her start a pretty decent chain. The pacing of the game is pretty good. I'd say the early levels allow you to really do a lot of damage without getting hurt too bad, so that it suckers you into the game. It kind of shows you the brutality of the game and appeals to that baser instinct and gets you hooked, and then it starts throwing some of the challenge your way. can see here, she's holding combos together pretty well.